In this video, I want to show you how I plan to use the Hobonichi A5 Cousins Planner for 2024. Let's go. Let's jump right into it. This is the Hobonichi Techo 2024 English Cousin book with a January start. Now I have it in the A5 size cover from the Color series, and this is violets, and I also did purchase the A5 cover on cover to protect it from dirt, oil and any stain that I know I'll make on it later down the track. I do have an unboxing video of it that you can check out later, and I'll have the link in the description below. The first spread I want to show you is the calendar index. On the A5 Hobonichi Cousin, the index spread is split into two halves of the year, January to June, then July to December. The way I plan to use these indices is to have it as a wellness tracker. So here's an example I created earlier by photocopying this spread, so that way I can play around with how I want to use it before 2024 even begins. Each monthly column has 10 little grids across, so I divided it into 3. That way I'm able to track 3 different habits daily. These will be my meditation, my reading and learning, and working out. Now I have assigned each habit with a color that makes sense to me. As I fill in this tracker throughout the year, I'll be able to visually see how well I am progressing with each habit. Then I can review it at the end of each month and be able to put a plan of action for the new month if I have neglected maybe one or more of these 3 areas. I can use the bottom of each column to write down my result in each. For example, in January of 2023, I meditated 61% of the time, I read 58% of the time, and I worked out 42% of January. Yes, I am a bit of a nerd when it comes to getting accurate stats, but I love it. Let me know in the comments section if you are the same as well. So these details I took from my 2023 habit tracker. At the bottom of each of the following month, if I wanted to, I can highlight each area I have improved on or not from the previous month. I'll use pink, that maybe the previous week I did less, and then green, I did better than the month before. I just added a header at the top, so when I do flip back to this in later years, I know exactly what I was tracking. Then I would do the same for the July and December spread. What do you think? Is this something you can do in your own planner? If so, make sure to give that like button a click to let me know. The next set of spread in the Hobonichi Cousin are the month calendars. Now, since the first month is in December of 2023, I'll start filling this at the end of this month. I'll most likely embellish it the same way that I do with my monthly spread that I do in my planner bundle printable. Here I have a hand lettering header, and I've got washi tapes, number stickers, and colorful highlighters and markers. So on the Hobonichi calendar spread, I'll put washi tapes down here, put a nice hand lettering header, and then embellish the spread to make sure I have all the details that I need to plan for that current month. Then we move on to the weekly spread. I did have a couple of go with this spread. I wanted it to be aesthetically pleasing with nice hand lettering and stickers, but I think this spread, for me, it will work better if I use it functionally as a straight task and to-do list with highlighting any specific appointments. Here's my first go. I like it, but I think I found the highlighted boxes too big. So for my second try, I minimized it so then it's just one grid for the heading. And I think so far, this is how I want to plan out this weekly spread. At the top, I can add number stickers for some color. Here are some weather stickers. That way I know the weather and the temperature for each day of the week. And then for each day, I write at the top time-specific task or events. I highlight it by placing dashed little box around it. And then underneath, the different tasks, habits, and routines I need to make sure I action for that day. Now, by highlighting each area of focus for me, I can clearly see if I'm putting too much attention on one area of my life, or in this case, a nice balanced task to do in each area that I have color-coded for myself. Now again, if you do highlight areas of your focus for each day, use colors that make sense to you. For me, pink is me time, lilac is for the home, green is for finance, yellow is for productivity stuff, blue is for my boys and their school as well as my own learning, and so on. And then at the bottom, I added some washi tapes for color. On the left-hand side, I add any tasks that I would like to do if there is time or they are non-day specific. And then maybe a little habit tracker at the bottom. I still need to figure out how I want to set this up. Now at the start of each new month, you get this one-page grid spread that you can use in many different ways. How I'm going to use it is I'm going to have it house my habit tracker. Now this is one of my printable download, which is part of the V3 habit, mood and sleep trackers, which you can find in my shop at marianecresp.com. Now I did reduce the size to about 75% and I printed it on vellum paper. I printed it on vellum paper instead of copy paper because at the time I only had white copy paper, which I thought might stand out too much against the cream Tomoe River S paper of the Hobonichi. However, I do plan on getting a nice cream colored paper so then I can print the following month's habit tracker on it, as I did have a bit of a difficult time with my printer trying to print on vellum paper. Ink smudges everywhere. So what I did is I just attached the vellum paper with washi tapes and stickers, and then before writing down on the actual vellum paper itself before the month start, I got myself these tracing paper notepad from Daiso here in Australia. I cut it down to size so it fitted that portion of the habit tracker. And then I wrote out my habits, routines for the day on how I think I want to action them for the month of January. Quite pretty, I think. I can't wait to start marking these once I've completed each habit. What do you think? Do you like it? We next move on to the daily one-page spreads. Now I know for me this A5 size is going to be a bit too big to fill in with my day-to-day tasks, as I know for myself I won't be happy that there'll be too much white space. So a couple of ideas that I do have is I want to use it as a journaling and as a reflection spread. I can write down my thoughts like a brain dump first thing in the morning, as well as any additional things that I want to do but don't know yet what to do with them for the day or for the rest of the week. This is like going to be a placeholder. Maybe also have it as a reading journal and write down my gratitude log, as well as a space to reflect at the end of the day. Now so far this is what I have come up with. Again, I have photocopied the two-page spread, and not only have I practiced what I want to write in it, but also practiced the style of writing that I want to use. Now I think I am going to stick to the slanted style as it's the way I write naturally, and therefore I'm not going to strain my wrist trying to write straight up and down, although I do like visually the straight up and down writing as it lines up beautifully with the square grid. So I've been writing in this spread for a few days to see if what I want to write is something that I can sustain and be consistent with each day, as it is such a big space to fill in. So here I've written down a gratitude log, morning and midday thoughts or a brain dump. I also log what I read for that day. Now to keep a few different variations of what to write in the morning, I made myself this little prompt task card. So this will help me for those days that I do get stumped on what to write in my Hobonichi cousin. Now this is an offcut of a laminated sheet from a previous project, and then I just added labels to these sticky note flags using my Make ID label maker. Now I'll have a video card link right up here to show you how you can make task cards like this for your own planning. And then for the spread, I just add washi tapes, stickers and stamps to embellish the pages. Now I am still in two minds whether I do want to log my reading in this planner, as it does take up too much of the space and doesn't leave enough for me to write down a reflection at the end of the day where I would like to write my wins, my struggles, and my key learnings for that day. Now, I know this journal is going to help me a lot to keep my mind at ease by getting things out of my head and down on paper as I work through those stressful, overwhelming, and anxious moments of the day. So it is going to be a bit of a struggle to wait until the new year starts for me to writing on the actual Tomoe River S paper, although I have done some swatch tests at the back of the book. But I do have my Hobonichi original A6 book to play around in and plan how I want to use this for 2024. And if you haven't seen yet how I plan to use my Hobonichi Weeks Planner, check out this video right here. See you in the next video. Bye bye.